Hello, everyone, and welcome to AC23, the radio show / podcast of the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge. I'm Chancellor Zero Skidmore. Our producer is Jeremy Porcine, and I cannot stress enough the importance of subscribing to the show on Apple Podcasts. You can also give us 5 stars if you haven't already, or 4 stars if there's possibly any room for improvement. Yes, we are still in quarantine mode, and like many of you, I'm struggling to wrap my mind around the practice of being still. I think being still can look like different things for different people. Sometimes I'm reflecting on my existence, and sometimes I'm using the paracord that I had set aside for djembe building, and I'm making poorly constructed survival bracelets like the one you see here. I struggle with bringing my mind to a halt, always have. I'm most at ease when I have some existential puzzles in my head to assemble and dismantle and turn inside out and perform surgery on, et cetera, et cetera. I've never been diagnosed with ADD, but I might just be in the wrong generation for that to have happened. I'm grateful for the show. I'm grateful to all my guests. You can see Todd is here with me today. I'm grateful to have other activities that keep me busy, and I'm hoping that all of you can find ways to occupy your minds and stay home and stay healthy. Before I get into my conversation with Todd Henry, my guest for today, I want to encourage all of you to visit artsbr.org, print out a blue heart. I have one right here on my desk. Print out one of these pretty blue hearts and put it up in your window. This is what we're doing to express our gratitude to our healthcare workers who are risking everything to save lives, to save our lives. This movement is called Hearts from Home BR. Join it. Also on our website, we're continuing to communicate about the rest of the many initiatives and responses we have to COVID-19. There are so many resources for artists, for arts organizers, to find relief funds, workshops, useful tips. We have arts activities parents can do with their kids, and we have a huge fundraiser coming up that I'll be getting into next week. So please go check out www.artsbr.org and keep listening to the show. So today I have an old friend on this show. As I guess, I feel like I say that every week. I guess when you get old enough, all your friends are old friends. Todd, I think that you were doing poetry out loud when we first met.
I think it was even before then, because I originally started off teaching at the Arts Council. So I was doing summer camps before I ever did poetry out loud. So, I mean, I think we've known each other since probably like 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
I mean, we were 12 years old at the time.
But you know, calls them the olden days.
The olden days.
The olden days. So you're over at Playmakers now, and you guys are one of the organizations in town who are finding innovative ways to continue to connect people, to bring the arts into people's lives. And I think right now is a moment in time when we probably need the arts a little more than we usually need the arts. And when I say that, I'm talking about all of the ways we're consuming art when we're home for long periods of time, whether it be video games or reading literature or anything, watching a movie. I think we're always consuming art, even if it's not what we call high art. But you guys are doing Playmakers Live right now, and it's one of the talks of the town. So tell us a little bit about Playmakers Live.
Well, I, like everyone else, have been sitting at home and with not a whole lot to do. And it's really, the idea is inspired by Seth Rudetsky, who is an amazing musical director on Broadway. And he is quarantined right now with his husband. And so from day one of this quarantine, they have been doing live shows every day at 2 and 8 Eastern and having all these Broadway stars on. And so he said, hey, if we can do it, you can do it. Do it on a local level. And so he was right. The technology we use, StreamYard, is amazingly simple. And we have so many of our kids sitting at home whose high school plays got canceled. All of their, plays with us or at TBR got canceled. And instead of focusing on what we can't do, we decided to focus on what we can do. And that was this show. And so every Wednesday and Sunday at 3 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
We have been having alumni on, local leaders. We had Renee Chatelaine on, the president of the Arts Council. We hope to have you on. You need to come on.
Hey, yes.
And it's just a conversation. We check in, we do fun games, we give everyone their quarantine nickname.
Okay.
And then the kids like share a song or a story from behind the scenes. So it's a way for us to connect.
Awesome. And it's just a conversation. I looked at one this morning. There was music. Y'all were kind of rocking out. I think it was the one from yesterday, right? And y'all just seemed like y'all were having a good time. And I think what's beautiful is that we're getting to see, even like you were talking about Broadway stars, we're seeing celebrities just in their homes, in their natural habitat, so to speak, and just kind of being themselves. I think that's kind of cool to connect, even if we're not talking to them, sitting in on a conversation and getting to even see other people connect on a personal level that we typically don't get to see connect. Now, these episodes that you guys are broadcasting via social media, can we go back and watch those? You're saving them, right?
Yes, the StreamYard that we use, we post to our Facebook page, so please go follow us on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But they live forever. So once the episode has aired, it is recorded to Facebook. So you can go back and watch all of the shenanigans that we have going on.
And so y'all are using StreamYard. I've never heard of StreamYard before. How is that different from something like Zoom?
So it's pretty much just like Zoom, but it will allow you to broadcast live to at whatever site you want. And then they have just some fun like bells and whistles of banners and little, scrawls around the bottom, So it's just little easy things that you can click. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So if you want to start your own live show, the biggest compliment ever was Jason from Baton Rouge Gallery. He, after like probably our second show, was like, "What are you using? Do you mind telling me?" I was like, "No, please go do it." And so Jason started their own show, and it's so great to see these people connecting. Because like you said, even if we can't necessarily do a show, it's nice to see that everyone's in the same boat. And we're all at home, and we're all trying to do our best. And I think that's really helpful at this time.
No, definitely, definitely. So tell me a little bit about what Playmakers had going on once the stay-at-home order hit, and what are y'all thinking about doing because once the stay-at-home order is lifted, we still have social distancing rules we're going to probably be following for a very long time. So have y'all, maybe I guess the first part would be, what did y'all have going on? Did this hit in the middle of your season or something like that?
I will say we were one of the lucky organizations. This is normally kind of our downtime. Mm-hmm. So what we had going on is we were about to have auditions for School of Rock, which is our summer musical. And we were starting to write our summer tour, which we bring to libraries all around the state. Mm-hmm. And so those things, the writing of the play can still continue. I've talked to the libraries, and we'll figure out if we have to postpone those dates a little, or if we'll film the show and distribute that to the libraries. But, like you said, social distancing right now is 10 people in a room. That's really hard to do theater-wise. Right. So, right now we haven't made a firm decision on School of Rock. There may still be some leeway to do it at the end of the summer or do it next season. Because luckily you can do rehearsals on Zoom. We can do music rehearsals. You can do things like that. Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot of different theaters do that. And our biggest thing is going to be camps. We're looking at that because right now we're looking at probably May sometime before stay at home goes. So we're looking at how do we do that? If we can have, Zoom classes and scheduled meetings, which we're trying to look at the positive. So silver lining is a lot of our wonderful instructors that our kids love have moved away and taken jobs elsewhere. But this way, it doesn't matter where they live. They could still come teach a camp for us.
Yeah, that's true. You got to find those silver linings these days.
Yeah, it's true.
So with the social distancing being in place, I remember I was on social media a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, so what are we going to be looking at as far as our TV shows coming back in future seasons or movies, like it's hard to act with other actors in a scene and you from 6 feet away all the time. And so I was trying to wrap my mind around what that was going to look like. And somebody in the film industry that I know responded to me and they were like, yeah, everything's shut. Nothing is shooting right now.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna see monologues really become more popular than they've ever come before, right? Maybe that's just gonna be it. It's like all of our movies are gonna be long monologues. It's gonna be weird.
Well, it's like you said. I mean, one of my favorite memes that's been on Facebook and all, Instagram and all of that is, people reminding people, hey, how you got through this was Netflix. This is how you got through it.
Yeah.
These are actors. These are artists. These are crew members. There's production people. They make their living doing this. And we're already seeing shows have their finales basically midway through.
Right.
So all of that is shutting down. And yeah, I mean, what does the state of the fall lineup look when they can't go back to work? We're going to be out of content. So
it's the reruns, right?
Right.
So are there any ideas about once the stay-at-home order is lifted? I don't know. I think that finding some way for you guys to not only be able to teach, but also to be able to get more content out there. I think that we're seeing a lot of people on Zoom and on Facebook Live, but I think maybe we will have to find ways to film projects, even local plays, right? Find ways to film them that are in tune with social distancing rules. That's going to be probably a necessity, right?
It will be. I mean, we're already seeing it happen now. I know Jenny Ballard over at Theater Baton Rouge, they've been talking about having to start rehearsals on Zoom and filming certain projects. And I think that will be a big thing. But I think, that's creativity. It's the next evolution. What will we do? We can look at it as a challenge. And I do want to give a big shout out to, we have our Playmakers Student Advisory Board. So these are all like high school seniors and juniors. Yeah. And they have their own Instagram page. And so we were planning on announcing this and holding it like probably in June. They're doing a virtual art slam. And so go to their Instagram page. It's at Playmakers SAB. And they've had people go on, post visual art. They've done monologues. We had an amazing sort of mixed multimedia presentation that someone put together the other day about their feelings about this. And I mean, I think that's a big thing about being an artist is this is our experience and what will be produced from this experience. I mean, I can only imagine at Forward Arts, the poetry that will come out of this. Like,
right. There's always it's always the artists responding to the struggles of humanity. That's typically when we see our Renaissance periods.
Yeah.
It's when humanity hits a brick wall and the artists have to come along and figure out a way through the wall or around the wall or under the wall or all of the ways to get on the other side, right? And so, yeah, I think that's brilliant. You mentioned slam. Of course, slam is my background, doing poetry slams. But I had come across a couple of years ago in New York, they were doing monologue slams where they'd have an actor get up on stage in front of a live crowd and perform a monologue that they had written. They were allowed to use costumes and some props, but and then the audience would judges randomly selected from the audience would score them, and they were getting to be pretty popular in New York years ago, and probably other places. But yeah, I think having slams and even like having poets post. So we're in the midst of April, it's National Poetry Month, and having people post poetry up on social media, I think is a great idea. I'm going to be doing a poetry writing workshop in a few days and post on the Arts Council website now that we're on the subject. I think it is a great time to write. I think that writing is something solitary that you can do alone. You can. It's very easy to send documents to other people to get feedback on. But I think that's kind of a luxury, right? Not everybody has the resources to kind of use this time to get themselves together, right? I think some people were struggling before this thing hit, and so I think that's also something to keep in mind is that not everybody can use this time to kind of invest in themselves, so to speak. Even though I'd like to be doing a lot more writing right now. I got the babies running around.
Oh,
I'm changing diapers.
But it really is true. I mean, I've had more time to like look at plays, and I think, you know, in theater, a lot of the times, every season you go into it, you're trying to make it bigger and like, okay, what can be bigger and better? And I think this will force us to look at smaller options and what's more meaningful right now, not necessarily the grandeur of everything and how big and what the set can look like.
Yeah.
What is meaningful and what's going to bring that joy and relief and, you know, catharsis in a way to certain things. So,
and I think also, you know, what plays well to a screen as opposed to a theater, right? And maybe can do both, but I know as a member of the Michael Foster Project, we've been thinking about, we did one broadcasted performance a couple of weeks ago, and we have another one coming up. We're really thinking about, like, you know, I mean, our background is all on the stage, doing live shows, and so we don't get to shoot too many music videos, you know, without a record deal. And so it really has forced us to look at how we project as we're playing, and you know how I guess showmanship is something that not all great musicians spend time on, but we're having to think about it much more than we used to, because there's no live audience to feed off of, right? When we're doing a live show, we're playing off that energy of the people on the dance floor, and now we have to try to keep that energy going throughout a whole set when we're just looking at a camera and playing. And I would imagine you're probably getting some of that in every genre of live performance, including theater, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I hooked up. I figured out how to do sound effects off of my little like speaker, so when our kids perform on live, they hear a roaring crowd applaud for them. Because it is true. That is something that live performance has over anything, is every time you do it, it's different, because that crowd, it is a relationship you're having with that crowd. Right. And so, I mean, you see it just on television where, you know, we're having late night talk shows go on, but there's no audience. And it's just so different. The energy, the feel of it is so different. And it's something that we're going to have to master in, you know, these times.
So how do you come up with someone's quarantine name?
Okay, so quarantine name. If you're a fan of Schitt's Creek, the TV show.
Okay.
Emily Hampshire is doing her own show, who plays Stevie on the show, and I thought this was so cute. So, Chancellor, I would like you to think of your current emotional state.
Okay.
And what was the last thing you ate?
Okay. My current emotional state is, I guess, happy.
Okay.
And the last thing that I ate, okay, all I've had today was a cup of coffee.
So you're
that's horrible. Can coffee count?
Sure, if that's what you've had today.
Okay, that's all I've had, actually, now that I think about it.
So yeah, every day it changes. Today I'm sort of relaxed cold pizza. I ate leftover pizza, so relaxed cold pizza. That's who I am today.
Relax. Okay, so you get a different quarantine name every day. It's not your name for the entire quarantine.
No, just every day. How you're feeling when we check in with you, that's who you are. Yesterday, Will Thomas's was Jubilant Chili Dog. He had eaten and we were like, that is brilliant. And
What time of day were y'all shooting this thing? I hope he wasn't. Did he have a chili dog for breakfast?
no, we shoot at 3:00. We go live at 3:00 on Wednesdays and Sundays. But he was a Jubilant Chili Dog, and I was like, "That's very on brand for you, Will. Very on brand."
My kids wanted grilled cheese this morning for breakfast, and I was like, "Okay." It's like it's like you pick your battles.
The rules are gone.
The rules are gone. We're still doing lessons at home, reading and writing lessons for the 4-year-old, and shapes and colors for the 2-year-old. But they can happen at any point in a day. It's kind of, I pop up from behind couches and ask him to count to 30. It's just kind of
Yeah.
every day is a different lesson.
Oh, for the parents at home also.
Yes, it is. Teaching requires a certain patience that teachers often struggle to maintain. So. Yeah, I would imagine for a lot of the parents that are trying to homeschool in this moment, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Pretty rough. But I think finding ways to, and I know you guys do so much work with young people, finding ways to give young people outlets, arts outlets, I think is important as well. Probably more now than ever. Finding ways to give young people artistic outlets in this time of, they're trying to process this craziness as well, right? And they're trying to process it with less of an understanding of the details. And so I think what you guys are doing is just great, and continue to do and have always done, I think is just very, very important, as one of those adults who, when he was a kid, needed artistic outlets. I just, it's just a safe haven for so many young people, and also a way to process a lot of emotions that they can't put into words. And so thank you all at Playmakers for doing what you do.
Thank you all for doing what you do, and keep sending me links. We post daily some new art link that, a resource for parents. I'm about to do the drum video that y'all did tomorrow. That's my video to post tomorrow. So
Awesome.
Keep sending me links, keep sending me stuff, and we'll talk soon because you're going to be on the show also.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Todd. For everybody listening, you can go check out Playmakers. They have all of their episodes on their Facebook page.
Yes, sir.
Yes, don't forget to put those hearts in your windows for Hearts from Home BR. And check us out at www.artsbr.org. Thank you for tuning in to AC23. Todd, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And shoot me an email. Let me know when I'm going to be on Playmakers Live.
I will.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.